My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Silent Night 2021. I actually already recorded a review for this one, but I guess the camera stopped working halfway through, so now I'm doing it from square one. So there's that. But this is a movie that I was really looking forward to. I didn't know much about it. All I knew is that it was about a Christmas dinner and then some sort of apocalypse event starts happening. And that's all I knew. So I was really intrigued. I heard good things. And after watching this movie, I have to say I was let down. Now, I do think this is one of those movies with tons of potential in it, but it just fails to utilize it. And it just ends up falling short of what could have been. Now, this movie does begin with the Michael Bublé song, the Christmas Sweater song. And I never heard it before this movie. And I heard it. I'm like, oh my goodness. That's an absolute banger. Like, that's one of the best Christmas songs I've heard. Like, that is going on the Christmas playlist. I'm playing it every Christmas season from this point forward. Great song. Warren Griffith Davis from Jojo Rabbit is in this movie, and he's really good in this movie too. He's proven to show just how talented he is, and he's easily the best part of this movie. Now, I love Keira Knightley as an actress. I think she was really great in Official Secrets, Begin Again, The Imitation Game. But this is one of the more forgettable performances by her. She just ends up falling short because she's not given enough to work with. Same as Matthew Good. In fact, same as the rest of the cast. The cast themselves just don't have anything to work with. The characters are so poorly written. The story gives them every opportunity to dive deeper into the characters and to highlight certain complexities, but the movie refuses to do so, so they just come across as shallow. Like, they're this group of childhood friends, but not once did I actually feel that. Now, the story itself starts off simple enough, but it does take a turn, and when it takes that turn, it did feel really jarring at first, but as the movie progresses, it does get better. And there are moments where you see the potential. There's a good 20-minute chunk in the middle of the movie where it feels like it's utilizing the potential of it. But then afterwards just ends up going back into the same lackluster route it was going in before. Like, this movie should be filled with emotional weight, and it should explore just the hopelessness of the characters and how enraged they are, and also just explore bigger ideas. But they don't. They could have easily turned some characters into villains, but they don't. They could have made characters question everything, but they don't. They just didn't end up doing anything with it. They never explore the characters' mindsets, or just left to accept it as it is. This movie has all the potential in the world, and it just ends up feeling wasted. Also, I guess this movie is a dark comedy, but not once did I actually get that sense. I never laughed once in this movie, and the last act of this movie is very overlong. It goes on for far too long, but I do really like the last shot of this movie. I do like the note it ends on. I actually disagree with the stance the director has on her own movie, which is pretty funny. And I will be going more in depth to that. After I give my score here, I am going to do a small spoiler section of this movie. But Silent Night had lots of potential. It ends up falling short, and because of that, it was quite the disappointment. So I'm going to go ahead and give Silent Night a 4.5 out of 10. I still appreciate the ideas and the ambition of this movie alone, but it could have done way more with it. But let's go into spoilers, so this will be a spoiler section of this video, so if you haven't seen it, go and watch it, then come back and watch this section, because I will be going in depth. So it turns out that Russia attacked US with this toxic gas, and it's moving its way across the country, and the government gave out the suicide pills to everyone so they don't have to suffer, so they can die quickly and painless. So this group of friends get together, and they're all going to kill themselves and kill their kids, which is really dark. And I think that's a great premise. And you could have had really tough discussions if we should ever trust what the government says, of how parents are forcing their worries onto their kids, of how suicide isn't the answer ever, of trying to hold on to hope in hopeless times, of what could possibly happen after they die, about any regrets or guilt they might feel about their life, There is so much potential there, and they just don't go into any of it. Instead, they just talk about their sex lives. They're talking about, oh, I had sex with this person. Oh, I wish I had sex with this person. And it's just so uninteresting compared to what could have been. And I also think this movie, more than ever, is relevant. I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't want this video being flagged, but over what's happened these past 2 years and how parents have forced their worries and their fears onto their kids, I think this movie is very relevant. And I know the director went out and she said this isn't an not gonna say it, movie, but it does come across that way, and I think it works really good in that way. She says, well, this is different because in real life the science is just indefeatable. But that's something the parents would say to their kids in this movie. She just lacks any bit of self-awareness, but I do think it works in ways that it wasn't intended to. I also wish that they actually gave the characters chances to have arguments about what they should do. Like, I wish they were actually going to have a discussion about what they're going to do. They're all going to kill themselves. Talk about it. Have characters change their minds. When Art, Woman Griffiths-Davis character, is just like, I'm not doing that, that's when the movie came alive. And then the parents are just like, no, you're doing it. And he's just like, so you want to kill me? And I just wish this movie had the balls to make the parents the villains. Because they're trying to kill their kids. It comes out of the circumstances. But they refuse to go that far into it. There's this one character, she's a pregnant girl, and she says she won't do it because she doesn't want to kill her baby, and this is one of the most likable characters of the entire movie. And then out of nowhere, she decides to kill herself at the very end. I'm just like, what made her change? What made her want to do that? It didn't feel true to what was set up, and I feel like the ending would have been a bit better if Art wakes up and she's still there, and then she can raise Art properly. I think that would have been a very powerful ending, but it didn't go that route. And the way that Art goes out before everything happens, I felt like was such a cop-out. Like, he's outside, he breathes in the gas, he's troubled about the dead bodies he just saw, and his parents take him inside, she's hugging him, and he's freaking out, and then they put him down, and it looks like he's dead. So everyone just takes their pills, and they're just like, oh my goodness. And I feel like that was the cheapest way out of everything. Instead of having Art actually confront his parents more and make them look more and more like the villains, they just found a way to get around that, and I thought that was very late. But Art waking up was a great last shot of this movie. It was a great note for it to end on, and I really do think it encompasses lots of the movie themes and ideas, whether or not the movie was going to those places or not, but it did come across that way, and I do think it works in that way. And I just wish this movie explored this premise in more deeper and meaningful ways. Really give these characters depth and complexities and have their worldviews challenged time and time again. I think that would have made for a really great movie, and what we get instead is a few great moments that are too far and few between, and some great potential, but a movie that just ends up falling short in almost every regard. So I was going to say that's why I give Silent Night a 4.5 out of 10, but I already said that. I'm not saying that twice. So what did you think of Silent Night? I doubt you've even seen it, but if you have, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.